Welcome agents to today's State of the Game recap video, where we got a lot more clarification over the pre-order bonuses that you'll get if you pre-order the game and the different editions that you can actually purchase for the Division 2. We also got more clarification over the Year 1 Pass, the Early Access, the stash space that you can actually purchase as part of the pre-order, among other things. So today I wanted to discuss that with you guys and basically put it in a small, short video for you. So if you enjoy this one, drop a like and let's get straight to this. Okay agents, so update 1.8.3 went live today, meaning Striker has been nerfed and the meta in PvP at least has been severely nerfed. And I've not tested it out yet, but I am due to and obviously give you guys my feedback on that. The running in place bug has been addressed and also the showstopper has been addressed as well. Now as of Monday 27th, the global event Strike will be live again. And with this one you can pick up classified sets of the Path of Nomad, D3FNC, Predator's Mark and Banshee. I don't actually have Predator's Mark knee pads, the classified version, so I will be grinding for those. So yeah, hoping to actually get those with this one because I've missed out on these a lot. Now with that aside, they did go over a lot of clarification about the pre-orders for the Division 2, and there is this content matrix that they've put out, which I'll put on screen for you now. As you can see, there are 6 different versions of the Division 2 that will be coming out. Now, I could make a whole new video about this. Skillup's actually made a very good video about this. I'd highly recommend go and check that out. And I don't personally agree there should be 6 editions, but there is, and you know, that's what they want. So with that, what they have said is that they've basically done this content matrix so you know exactly what you're getting. Make sure that in your region you are picking up the right product. Now, it does appear that there's 2 different types of Dark Zone Collector's Editions. And there's one for America and one for the rest of the world. And as you can see on the graph, one of them has the Year 1 Pass, has the First Responder Pack and the Elite Agent Pack. The other one doesn't. And if you look on the one that doesn't, that one doesn't even have the Year 1 Pass, but the Ultimate and the Gold Edition does. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff missing in some that are more expensive. And in my opinion, it really shouldn't be 6 editions, but that's what's going to be coming out. So you guys can choose what you want. Now, they went on to talk about the additional stash slot. And again, this has been a bit of a controversy along with the Year 1 Pass and the Early Access. And I kind of want to do a separate video about this. But what they have said is that the additional stash slot will come as part of the Elite Agent Pack that comes with the Ultimate Edition. And it appears it also comes with the Dark Zone Definitive Collector's Edition and also the Phoenix Shield Collector's Edition as well. And they said this is an extension of the default stash size in game. They're not ready to talk about numbers because this is still a work in progress. So at this point, we don't know what we're kind of paying for because we don't know how much extra stash space we'll be able to get. And we don't actually know what the default stash space is. So we don't know whether we would need to pay extra to get that. Now, they've said they know how important the stash space is. So they want to make sure that there is enough stash slots in place already. So you will not need the stash extension, but it is an optional extra for those who really want to hoard all the things. So what they're basically saying is that there will be enough space that you don't have to purchase this. But if you are the sort of person to hoard everything, then you can pay a little bit of extra cash to actually get this additional stash slot. And at this point, they haven't confirmed whether this is something that you can purchase at a later date. I do know it's not part of their microtransactions at this point, but they haven't ruled it out altogether. Now, going on to the Early Access, it does say you can get 3 days Early Access to the game, and with the Year 1 Pass, 7 days Early Access to the announced episodes of Year 1. So this doesn't mean, this does mean that the Year 1 episodes, that's what they're calling them, the free episodes are going to be free. But all this pass is going to do is allow you to get onto that 7 days early. And again, I will be making a separate video about this. Now, they've put that this is an option for players that can't wait to explore the story and the missions. Well, that depends, because sometimes I can't wait to play stuff, but I can't afford it. And that's what this is effectively saying. If you can afford it, then you can actually get this earlier than other people. They've said that they are very aware that the Division is a competitive game. I don't know about that. And they take into consideration when they select what will be active during the Early Access phase. They do not want to give players a competitive advantage with the Early Access. The focus is on the story. So at this point, they're basically saying that with this Early Access, they're going to make sure that you don't have a competitive edge over someone who's not actually purchased this. But I find that highly unlikely. If you can play the story or whatever it might be 7 days early, it's likely you're going to have some sort of advantage over someone else who doesn't play it early. But again, this isn't a competitive game, at least from what I can tell. So I'm not so sure about that. They've talked about raids and Early Access. They said that raids are not part of the Early Access. They will be open for everybody at the same time after the Early Access phase is over. And I did expect that. They went on to talk about the Year 1 Pass and the additional activities. Now, In the description of the Year 1 Pass, it does say additional activities. A lot of people have said, well, what does this mean? You know, is people who pay for this Year 1 Pass, are they going to get additional content that other people are not? And they've said they're not ready to talk about these activities at the moment, but they still have the E3 goal. The episodes are still free, and they do not want to split up the community. This could be similar to how they said that the supply drops for the Season Pass for the Division 1 were additional activities, but actually they were just supply drops. So it's probably going to be similar like that. Moving on to the Elite Agent Pack and the skill effect. Some people thought that with this skill effect it would be an extra mod that you get with the skill, but they have confirmed it is a visual effect. It will have no impact apart from that. It has no impact on stats, and it will just give you a visual, somewhat visual, effectively. It's not going to have any impact on the game. They went on to talk about the private beta and the closed beta. There was obviously two different phases, which is what we had with the Division 1. I think in the Division 1 we had the private beta in January, and then we had the closed beta in February, and the game releasing in March. I imagine something similar for this game. So what they've said is if you pre-order the game, it gives you access to the private beta, and that will be the first one. And then of course there's a second phase, which is the closed beta, which you have to sign up for. So I've done that. I haven't actually pre-ordered the game yet. I'm just waiting for a bit more information at this point. I know I'm going to pre-order it, but I just want a bit more clarification on exactly what all this stuff is first before I do that. But I'm hoping I get picked for the closed beta as well. And lastly, they went on to talk about the exotic weapons. So there are exotic weapons that are included in the pre-order. There's one called the Lullaby and the Ruthless, and they are part of the different versions that you can buy. And that's similar to the Division 1. I believe with the Division 1 you got exotic weapons depending on the edition you bought as well. Now they said you will get the low-level version with these packs to start your experience, but you will outgrow it, just like the weapons in the Division 1 Season Pass. And the goal is to really just give you the feeling for exotic weapons. They did say, and this is a good thing, that if you do like the exotic weapon, you will still have the blueprint to craft the weapon once you hit the endgame. So you can do that. I don't know if you'll be able to craft it up to the endgame status, and I don't think that's been confirmed at this point. They said while the Lullaby and the Ruthless are exclusive to the different editions, they are not exclusive in the game. So you can pick these up within the game at another point. There is also an exotic equivalent that drops for everybody. They've said that to craft the Lullaby or the Ruthless with the blueprint, you need the normal exotic equivalent to craft the weapon. In the end, it will just look more interesting, but has the same stats as the normal version of the weapon. So I don't know if this means that you'll be able to craft this weapon to an end game status, and whether it's just going to be more of a visual thing and just something that you can brag about, or say you paid for it effectively. I don't know at this point, and I don't think this particular sentence or sentences clarify that. I'd hope that actually you can craft this weapon at a later time and it becomes an end game sort of weapon, because if you can get it in game and it's not just exclusive to pre-orders, then that should be fine, at least in my opinion. So there you go guys, that was the recap. I realise it's nearly 8 minutes long, this video, so it's not really a recap, but there was a lot of information about the Division 2 that they wanted to clarify, and I wanted to make sure that I clarified that with you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like. It does help me out. All your support has been absolutely amazing. Until the next one, Epic out.